In each episode of this series, I will offer an applicant a blind choice of either a pleasant experience, a treat, or a darker trick. Following advertisements in the press, over 1,000 people applied online. All were sent a card saying they were being considered, but none of them knew if or when they were going to be chosen. These are the people I've selected, they just don't know it yet. Welcome to Trick or Treat. Tonight's participant is David, a 37-year-old single actor originally from Scotland but now living in London. He dislikes moths, likes the Kaiser Chiefs, hates astrology, is probably the greatest stage actor of our generation and is widely known as a Time Lord. As usual, we've left our images around as clues he's about to get involved. David is on his way to a day's filming and has been collected from home and brought to the unit base on location. As ever, his first port of call is the makeup wagon. What he doesn't realise is that we got there first. The makeup artist is in on the act, and as well as installing a number of hidden cameras, we're quietly hiding next door. My hand is resting on the light switch.
I got it to Christmas and I've played it every day.
Do you think it does make you rain?
I think... Oh,
hello.
Oh, it's been doing this all morning. Hang on a sec.
David.
Hi.
David, you expressed an interest in coming on the show.
Sure.
I'd love to use you.
Thanks.
You may know how the show works. You have a choice of two cards. One says trick.
Yeah.
One says treat.
Yeah.
If you pick the one that says treat, it'll be something nice. If you pick the one that says trick, then it won't be.
Yeah.
You want to play?
Sure.
Excellent. I need you to sign your contract.
Oh, wow. In blood?
In pen.
This could be anything you're getting me to sign. You see
Yeah.
the trust I'm handing over to you here?
Thank you. That's it. We'll fill out the rest for you.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay. Point to the one you'd like. Okay, I won't let you see. Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think it improves your... doesn't make you more clever, but it just improves memory, definitely.
Yeah. Sure.
I've invited David to join me at a country house in Hertfordshire where, without using any tardies, I'm going to show him a different way to travel through time and space. So which doctor were you growing up with?
Tom Baker and then Peter Davison.
Oh, it's exactly the same age as me.
Yeah.
Can I give you that for a second? Holding
Yes, you
your
can.
left hand. Fantastic.
Right.
I'm assuming then the whole idea of time travel and all of that was an appeal as part of liking Doctor Who.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate superpower, isn't it?
It is. You picked a treat card.
Did
Okay.
I?
Yes, you
Good,
did. You did.
good.
So you can breathe a sigh of relief there. And the treat that I'd like to give you
Yeah.
is an experience of a sort of time travel. I'm going to begin by taking you back to a very specific date
Right.
and a very specific time,
Right.
and ask you for things that can be verified. All right? So that's what we're going to do. First of all, thank you very much for coming along and doing this. Look at me now and just sleep. Now you can stand and relax and just let yourself drift down. Genuinely, just with my voice just there in the centre of your head and floating around you, and just genuinely start to relax as you stand. And I'm going to move a chair behind you. I'm going to take your hand, and with your eyes closed, let's sit you down in that chair right behind you. You keep hold of the envelope. I'm going to put your hand there, and as you relax, as your hand stays right there, that hand doesn't need to come down any more quickly, that it takes you to just drift and sink away at your own rate and speed. And I'd like you to be aware of the envelope that I've given you, and just to keep that hand that's resting on it, continuing to rest on it. And what I'd like you to do for me, David, is to imagine yourself in a hotel corridor with doors on either side of you. And as you just begin to picture that in your mind, you're going to start to move as if you were being pulled backwards, slowly at first, through that corridor. I want you to be aware that this corridor takes you back through time. Now, as you hear my voice, you start to move, but this time you feel there's a real pull. You begin to feel it building like a G-force as you move backwards through that corridor, and those doors just start to whiz past you, and you start to see the 60s go past. You'll even notice a change in the decor of the corridors, and then you realize you're going back through the 50s. You feel it picking up speed, and you really feel that inside of you, pulling you back through the corridor, faster and faster. Can't even keep track of the doors now. Difficult to keep track of the years, finding yourself going back through the wartime, through a sense of that period, and then you stop there. As you come to a halt, you look at the sign on the door, you see that it says September the 29th, 1938. Step through the door. Now, you're in a place called Chester Square. It's 1938. I want you to give me a sense of what you're first aware of.
There's a road.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a car that's stopped. There are lots of people. There's been an incident with the car, and anxiety amongst them.
So there's a lot of emotion.
Mm.
Okay.
It's a woman.
And what happened?
The car stopped, and there was a bit of a hullabaloo.
Okay.
It's about her. It's something she's done or something she represents.
And as you look around the square, is there any buildings?
It's a church.
So there's a very strong emotion coming from this crowd towards this one woman.
Mm.
Here's what I want you to do. I'd like you to slide from where you are. Find yourself going back through the door. This time you're going to move forwards. And to shoot forward now, coming right up to the present day, and when you get there, you feel yourself waking up. Chester Square means nothing to you. It's just one of many, many squares in London. Just open up the envelope. Just pull it straight out. Don't turn it over quite yet. Just pull it out. So this is a newspaper.
Yeah.
From September the 30th, 1938. There is an article on the front page of that paper, which, if you turn it over, I've put a couple of arrow stickers there. Can you read that out?
Crowds of women rejoicing at the news from Munich cheered Mrs. Neville Chamberlain for several minutes last night as she left St Michael's Church, Chester Square, London, where the Archbishop of Canterbury had addressed a broadcast service. As Mrs. Chamberlain appeared at one of the doors after the service, a great crowd were waiting to cheer her. By the time her car had arrived, they had grown to several thousands. As she stepped into the car, they surged round her, cheering continuously.
Oh, interestingly, the first thing you went to was the image of a car.
It really was,
with
yeah.
loads of people around it. I'm so important I hadn't told you that story.
Not at all,
Told you
no.
what happened. Listen, I'm going to stop there, but thank you
Right.
very, very much. That's fantastic, really interesting. Thank you, thank you.
I wasn't enjoying being amongst those people. I was quite glad when I was told to go back into the hotel corridor again. That felt like a relief. I think probably the scientific logic of it would indicate that Derren's a witch. I'm happy to go with that.
After going backwards in time, I want to move on to the more philosophically interesting area of travelling forward in time. And to do that, David's going to have to pretend to read someone's mind. I'm going to have you project yourself forward in time, 20 minutes, and tell me something that's going to happen.
Right.
All right? Let me take your arm. Just relax, look at me, put your feet flat on the floor. In a little while, we're going to leave here, we're going to walk out onto the street. You're going to go up to somebody in the street, and you're going to have them draw a picture. And you can choose anybody you like. Now, what you're then going to do is to pretend to read their mind. And what I want you to do in a second is to project yourself forward to the point that at the end of that trick, they will turn their drawing around and show you what they've drawn, okay? And I want you to see in the future what it is that they're going to draw. Okay? Mm-hmm. Good. Now close your eyes for me. And put your hand up there. That hand will not come down any more quickly or slowly than it takes you to begin to get a sense of what that is. You don't have to think about it, but you're just imagining them with that drawing. You can see in your mind whether it's a man or a woman. You've pretended to read their mind. You get it right, and And then they turn it around. And at the point your hand touches the table, you'll have a clear sense of what it is. Just open your eyes for me. Remember what that is. I'd like you now to go and stand in the corner, just behind you. You can then draw what you're thinking of. I will not look. So stand there with the wall behind you, facing into the room, so you know nothing. You look over your shoulder, and I'll look over here. Nice and large and clear. When you're done, just fold it up, put it straight in your pocket, and please, no cameras directly on that. When you've done it, don't show anybody. Fold it straight up, put it in your pocket. Lovely. Done that? Mm-hmm. Excellent. Let's go. There should still be some people around. It's 20 to 4.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Let's go.
This is quite odd. I am quite freaked out by this.
David's now going to act out the mind reading he imagined 20 minutes ago to see if a random member of the public will draw what he foresaw that they would.
What sort of person should I be looking for?
Entirely up to you.
I have a blank canvas.
A blank canvas.
Let's do it. Maybe down here?
Yes.
No.
No?
I'm not feeling a psychic bond.
Okay.
There's someone. We're not rolling. Are we rolling? Excuse me. You don't have 5 minutes to let me try and read your mind, do you?
I'd love you to.
Would you? Yeah. Brilliant. I found someone. What's your name?
Claire.
Claire, I'm David. It's lovely to meet you. This is Derren.
Hello, I'm Derren.
He's a sort of witch. Don't worry about that.
Excellent.
Come up here and we'll put a microphone on you and we'll do
David's
that.
going to read your mind. I'm going to stand you there facing David,
Okay.
and David there facing Claire.
Yeah, good.
Now, this is very simple. I've been teaching David some of my mind-reading skills, and he is, in a moment, going to read your mind as you focus on a picture or an image or something. Now, I need you to start doing that now. All I'd say is, as you do it, make the image very clear, very bright, very vivid. Try not to change it and mess it around. If you happen to be thinking of like a house or a stick man, change it, think of something else. Now I'm going to ask you to draw this before we do anything. David, you obviously must look at what Claire draws.
No,
So just get a pen and paper. Nice and large and clear, please. David, look the other way. And you also, as you can't tell from the sound of the pen or anything.
I can't hear anything.
You can't even hear anything then. I can, I've got quite good at this. But I've no idea.
Okay, I've got
Done.
it.
Just hold the whole thing up against yourself. Right, can David turn back round now? Lovely. Well, you don't get dirty fingers. Lovely.
Okay.
Okay, all right, here we go. So, Claire, you're focusing on the image. Now start sending that picture across, and at the same time, in your mind, just scream the name of the thing over and over again. Make that image, Claire, really big and bold and bright. Now, David, as you're doing this, are you getting a sense of animal, vegetable, or mineral?
I think it's living. I think it's a living thing.
All right. Now, don't say yes or no, but you've given away probably a nice yes then from that.
And I think it's a furry animal, like a pet, and it's I think I know what it is. I think it's a cat.
No, is it? Can it?
Yeah, it is.
Hello?
This is the worst drawing ever, but it definitely is a cat.
That's really good. Well done.
Really good. It's appalling. I'm supposed to be an art student.
It's not. Claire's a fine art student.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. What year? Congratulations. I'm going to ask you a few questions about it, so just stay put for a second.
Okay.
Well done, though. Congratulations. Let's step out.
I can't understand possibly at all how he would have been able to grab that from me. Well, it was pretty strange when he said that he thought it was something furry. It was quite difficult for me not to laugh, actually, just because I couldn't believe that he'd actually got it.
So this is Claire's drawing, which is quite freaky. Well, I'm just going to show you, because I'm really quite freaked out by this. There's not much to choose between them, really. It's the tail's going the same way, even the sort of slightly devilish, the devil horn ears, which as I drew them, I was thinking they don't look much like cat ears, but she's done exactly the same thing. But I wasn't expecting it to be quite so bang on.
Now that I've shown David that his own abilities can place him backwards or forwards in time, I try one final game with him. I want David to try and predict a future event that will appear in his daily newspaper, The Guardian, and for this, he's going to try some automatic writing, whereby he can let his subconscious mind express itself without rational interference. I need him to be as relaxed as possible, so to combine this with the opportunity of seeing David in a close-fitting wetsuit, I've decided to give him the experience of a flotation tank. For 45 minutes, David relaxes and relaxes and slowly enters an altered state of consciousness. When he seems most receptive, he's gently helped out of the pool, maintaining an optimum trance state in order to write his prediction. Okay. I want you to, first of all, sign your name at the top of this piece of paper. I shall dictate if you can write. My name is David Tennant. I am now about to begin automatic writing and will predict events that will happen and be reported by the Guardian newspaper on Thursday, the 17th of January, 2008, 3 days' time. And now, David, I'd like you to look up at some point that you can comfortably focus on there. I'm going to talk to you. You are going to continue to write. When I tell you to start, as you write, you're going to pay no attention to what you're writing. So just begin that process now. Tell me your plans for the future.
It would be good to be happy, family, health.
Earliest childhood memory.
Earliest childhood memory.
Keep going. Keep writing.
Earliest childhood memory. I don't know, it's difficult to think.
Any country in the world, where would you go if you go on holiday tomorrow?
I've never been to Australia. I'd like to go to Australia.
Go down the page a little bit. That's good. Keep going. If it's your 80th birthday, would you have a big event, a big bash?
I don't know. I think I'd be tired if I was 80.
I'm going to ask you to stop there. I'm going to take the pen from you. What I want you to do is to fold up that sheet of paper. Fold it up, and you're going to place it in the envelope that's there. Lovely, and seal that up. Great. And then, I'm going to give you another envelope. I'd like you to fold your one up very small and place it in this one, just so there's no danger of it coming open by accident, or also so you're not tempted to have a quick peek at what you... Okay, that's yours to keep. You can put it in your pocket for now.
It's a bit wet.
Is it a bit wet? No, that's all right for now. But just please, when you take it home, in fact, let's stand up. We're done here. When you take it home, please resist the urge to open it.
Right.
And one thing I would say, David, you said you read the Guardian newspaper.
Yeah.
We're going to meet again on Thursday.
Right.
On that Thursday, please promise me you will avoid reading any newspapers or catching the news, catching it on the radio by mistake or anything until we meet and we can find out together what's in the paper that day. Thank you so much for being such an amazing sport with us.
It's been a pleasure.
You've been absolutely fantastic. And that's all for now. And I will see you.
See you on Thursday. See you then.
Thank you again. It's now Thursday morning, and 4 days ago, David Tennant made a prediction as to what might appear in today's Guardian newspaper. He placed that prediction in a sealed envelope inside another one, and he's kept that safely with him all week. I've sent him off to buy today's Guardian from any newsagent of his choosing anywhere in London, and then to bring that newspaper back to me without looking at it. We sent a camera to keep an eye on him.
Guardian, 17th of January, 2008. Mission accomplished, let's go. Thank you.
So if you could lose these supplements before we do anything, just drop them on the floor. Lovely. Okay, so it's Thursday the 17th of January. You're happy this is today's Guardian?
I've just bought it.
You have just bought it?
Yeah.
Fantastic, thank you very much indeed. Now you've also got the envelope on you, which you've been hanging on to for a few days now, for 3 days since Monday. Not tampered with? No, we're not expecting this to be perfect block capitals. I, David Tennant, predict X, Y, Z. It's the nature of automatic writing. It's going to be squiggly and difficult to decipher, but we will decipher what we can find, and I'm going to write up here the sort of 4 or 5 things that we can kind of make sense of and compare them to what's in the paper. All right? So if you can open that for me, and I'm going to get this down as well, and ask you to take out the... there's an envelope inside the envelope, isn't there? So we take out the envelope inside and pull that out. Fantastic. If you just take out the prediction inside, but without actually unfolding it and reading it just yet. Fantastic. Okay. I'll give you the camera if you want to just unfold that for me, and we'll start going through it. And if you can read it as best as you can, the camera should be able to pick that up.
My name is David Tennant. I am now about to begin automatic writing and will predict events that will happen and be reported by the Guardian newspaper on Thursday, 17th January 2008, 3 days' time.
Okay, this is the point where it sort of starts to get a bit, a little bit messy. We can ignore anything that clearly refers to things that were going on in your head just to do with the questions that I was asking you. It'll take a while for the genuine automatic writing to kick in.
I can't read any of that.
Australia. I think I asked you about where you wanted to go. I think we're still on the
Holidays.
I don't know what that is. Like a wall or something, or?
That doesn't seem to relate to anything. Equally doesn't need to mean anything either, but let's write it down so at least we can start writing down things that we can read. And we can always go back and look at those other ones afterwards. Is it A? What does that look like? AG?
AGAWALLA? Something file? Or
File.
tile?
You think tile? You know, you're writing a bit like tile. Cold cat.
Face something? That's face, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like face, doesn't it? How much of this do you remember at the time?
No, by now
where were you with the, you were just scribbling?
I was just scribbling.
Cold cat
Cold
again.
cat.
Wife.
There's crab apple.
There's no sense of really a story yet here.
Poppy.
Poppy.
Scrabble. There's Scrabble.
Scrabble. That does look like Scrabble. Will Sue. Will Sue. That looks like online to me.
Yeah. Online Scrabble. Somebody will sue online Scrabble.
There you go.
That's almost a sentence.
Actually, I know what this is. I know what this is. I have looked at the papers this morning.
Right.
That does look like a complete statement. All right, so there's nothing on the front page that matches with this. I'm going to let you go through. There is a...
Well, there's Scrabble.
This is it.
My brother's Facebook homage to Scrabble spells
Face.
lawsuit.
Now,
Face.
Face you had quite a few times.
Face.
This is a story of the makers of Scrabble suing the online version that's on Facebook for copying them.
I go what? Nearly.
Tile, of course.
Tile.
Cold cat. Cold cutter. That's really good. And wife.
Oh, there's wife across the top, you see?
Those are the words that are on the picture. Well, you've done it.
Yeah.
You've done it. There's the guy. There's his name. Face, clearly Facebook. Tile. Cold cat. Cold cutter. David, you've been fantastic. Please take this with you and
Sure.
do check it against obviously any other
I'm
copies.
going to now start working on some lottery numbers.
Well, perhaps we'll
And,
team up for that.
Yeah, I'll see you in Hawaii. No, it's not something I'm familiar with. Predicting the future. It's something I'm dabbling with for the first time, if I'm honest, and probably the last. But I'm very glad that it's been brought out of me in such an exciting way.
In each episode of this series, I will offer an applicant a blind choice of either a pleasant experience, a treat, or a darker trick. They won't know which one they've chosen, and they may not know how or when it will happen to them. All the applicants responded to advertisements. These are the 6 people that I've selected. They just don't know it yet. Welcome to Trick or Treat. Tonight's applicant is Richard, a 20-year-old student from Wolverhampton. We've been observing him for the last few weeks to build up a profile and to monitor his movements to and from his flat. He lives a quiet and predictable life, which might be fun to shake up a bit. At 3 a.m. one morning in March, we've gathered outside his house, where he is hopefully asleep. His girlfriend has been persuaded to lend us a set of keys. I'm going to quietly break in and introduce myself. card will say treat. If you pick the card that says treat, then what happens to you will be something nice. If you pick the one that says trick, it won't be.
Okay.
Okay? You won't know which one you've picked. You happy to play? Okay. You're going to sign this. Now it's a little bit too dark to read. But it's a contract that allows us to do what we like with you. You need to sign that along the bottom there. I'll hold that for you. Thank you. Choose one of the two cards, Richard. That one. Okay. Thank you. Let yourself go back to sleep.
For Richard's trick, I'm going to have him collapse asleep in London and wake up 1,500 miles away in Morocco with no explanation. And for that, I'll need his passport. He will have no memory of the journey or of any time having passed. More of Richard's adventure later. Meanwhile, I've met up with the League of Gentlemen for a discussion about fate and mini-rolls.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hi guys. Actually, would you grab a little chocolate roll from the tray
From
there,
here,
and then, yep.
certainly.
There are 5 there, so if you can take one each, and if somebody can just put the last one in their pocket, that would be great. And come and sit down any chair that you like. Any one of these 4.
Hello,
And,
how are you?
Steve, pleasure.
Hello.
Pleasure. Thank you. And Jeremy, nice to meet you. Have you got the last one that wasn't chosen? In your pocket, great. Keep that in there for the moment. Thank you very much. Well, look, thanks so much for coming out. Thanks for doing this. I want to show you these. There's 4 cards. There's something on the other side, but if you just mix them up for me, don't turn them over yet, and push them in the middle. If you can all just take one each, doesn't matter at the moment which one you take, but if you can just pull one towards you. On each card there's a message, and I want you just to have a look and memorise now the message that you've got. Done that?
Yep.
Great, lovely, and I'll have those back. Thank you very much. Excellent. Do any of you believe in fate at any level?
Yes.
Genuinely?
I do, yeah.
Yeah?
I think things happen because they're meant to happen.
I believe in some are fates, but no other.
I believe that we create our own destiny.
Oh, you've got to come up with a different belief system now.
No, just genuine.
I know,
I don't
trying to do
talk.
comical answers to it, but I think, I think I agree with Steve. I think you do. Your instinct often leads to exactly where you're meant to be.
You superstitious fools.
It's kind of about decisions, isn't it? And decisions that you make without sort of realising even that you're necessarily making decisions. And it's only in hindsight you go, "That I suppose if I hadn't, hadn't walked that way or gone to that party or met that person." A bit like, for example, the chairs that you sat in. And I sort of made a point of saying sit in any chair, and I presume you weren't thinking particularly about which chair you were going to sit in before you sat down. Or the choice of the cards that you picked, which again I told you not really to think about it and just take them. And they all had a message on. What was the message? Or what was your message?
It was a colour. It said, "I will choose blue."
I will choose blue. Have you any idea what that refers to?
Blue's my favourite colour. I'm wearing a blue
You're wearing a blue
shirt.
shirt. Perfect.
The mini rolls are blue.
It actually doesn't refer to any of those things. It refers to a sheet of card that's underneath the cushion on your chair that you're sat on. And if you pull it out, you have to reach under the cushion.
Under the cushion.
Yeah. Da da da. Look at that. A blue sheet of card. And what did yours say, Mark?
I will choose green.
Pull it out.
And the card.
And it out. Very good. Jeremy, just to see where this is going. Jeremy, yours said, I will choose yellow. That's right, take it out for me. Which leaves you with the red. I believe.
Wow.
Excellent. So you see what I mean. Then they've got decisions that aren't important, but you make them without thinking about it. And this is kind of an area that I find interesting. And it's also the good or bad consequences that you can avoid, or things that you never knew would have happened had you made different decisions. And this, for me, this goes back to, and this is why the chocolates actually do play a role. When I was about 10, I was in a supermarket queue with my mum, and she bought these, not these particular ones, but and I was petitioning her to open them and eat them before we'd paid for them, and she was getting a bit angry with me, a bit stressed, and in her annoyance sort of ushered the lady behind us to come through ahead of us in the queue because she only had, milk or something. And then we all paid for our stuff, and the woman went out, we went out. When we went out, there was a crowd that was gathered in the car park, and this woman who we'd allowed ahead of us had been hit by a car, and she was laying on the car park. And so at the age of 10, I'm then going home thinking, God, if I hadn't have wanted to tuck into those mini rolls, my mum wouldn't have let that woman go ahead, and would it have been my mum that got hit by the car? And you start to kind of do those things in your head. Hence the mini rolls. Would you, and carefully, if you don't mind, would you just open them and try not to break or touch the chocolate, and just sort of put them on the plates. Thank you. Lovely, thank you. And again, did you think about which ones you took? There were 5 altogether, weren't there? So you've got, Jeremy, the last one in your pocket. But otherwise than that, you just sort of grabbed. You just grabbed
random.
And you presume that they are indeed mini rolls.
They look like mini rolls.
They do, don't they?
It could be razor blades.
Could be, yeah. Why don't you just take a bite out of them? Go on. Nice big bite.
Nothing wrong with them.
Take a bite?
Nice.
Jeremy, you just take a larger bite.
There's a fish hook inside.
Oh.
Oh.
What's that? What is that in there?
What is something in there?
It's not.
No, it's just sponge and cream.
It's just the way he was eating it. He made it look like it was.
Jeremy.
Hey.
Look at this mess.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's great. No, that's what I was hoping for. Excellent. So the last one, there was one left. You put one in your pocket, didn't you? You pull that out. Now look, you need to really carefully, Jeremy, just undo that, and just so we don't confuse them. Just pass me your plates.
Get rid of that.
Get that out of the way. Okay. Okay, just on there. All right.
Why me?
So look, before you do this, and do be careful, but you did just take any one.
Yes.
I would suggest you just take hold of the edges of it and just...
Which way? Towards you?
Yeah, either way, really. Just do be careful.
The gas.
And again, I'd go a little bit further. Careful.
Look.
Oh, Jesus.
Dirty.
Just,
Get out with those.
It is a razor blade, is it?
It is.
Jesus.
Send it back. That
Wow.
There it is, look.
Oh my
yeah, that's what I was hoping it would be the one you didn't. Thank you for coming on.
Thank
Take
you.
Pardon that, pleasure. And
For saving our lives.
You're shaky. And Reece.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
That was literally just pick any one, wasn't it?
It was. There was no compulsion. There was no shenanigans.
No, totally random. We walked in a random order, chose random chocolates, sat down in random chairs, so...
And also, you'd have ended up with 2 and you just picked
I know, I could have changed my mind at the last minute.
And all sealed up and then within it.
That's the thing, how do you get it in there?
Well, it's
How do you get it in there?
Don't know.
I mean, and what? It's slightly irresponsible.
Derren Brown Bakery. I knew it.
Since Richard picked the trick card, I now have license to shake up his regulated world. He's going to wake up in Marrakech, somewhat outside his comfort zone, and this journey starts here. He's catching an early train to Waterloo, and we know he needs to get some passport photos urgently, so we're hoping he'll take the bait and step into the fake photo booth that we've set up. All the cameras are hidden.
I'm going at a time now, Jake.
Richard, sit comfortably. This is Derren. Just allowing your eyes to close. Really relax. I'm going to come and give you a hand. Just allowing your eyes to close. I'm moving. Come and give you a hand. Just allowing on your own.
The complementary patterns of light and sound are designed to send Richard plummeting into a catatonic state.
Okay, let's get the van, let's get in there.
Both Richard and our fake photo booth are embarking on an extraordinary journey. Now, I don't know how long he will remain asleep for, but for the first half hour or so, I talk gently to him to keep him in this state. We arrive at Heathrow Airport a bit late and apprehensive about the check-in. As it turns out, we get through check-in and security without a hitch, but the authorities don't allow filming after passport control. However, we do take a series of snaps throughout the journey. Any recognisable faces and logos are blurred. Richard is now sleeping very happily with no help from me. In America's New York, I use my award-winning powers to plant a word in the slightly smaller American brain without anybody knowing how. Guys, you free for a couple of minutes? Do you want to come and do this?
Sure.
It's a kind of a mind-reading sort of experiment. I need you to call somebody that you know.
Okay.
All right? Does your cell phone have a speakerphone? It does? Excellent. Good. Do you want to get someone on? Is there someone you can call you think will be in? Right. What's this person's name?
Joe.
Okay. Well, if Joe isn't in, we can try someone else. Is that on speaker at the moment? Yeah. Right, cool. Actually, if you want to hold it, if you hold it in your hand like that, then we'll both be able to hear it, and the mic will be able to pick it up too.
Joe?
Yeah.
Okay, just stay on the line and talk to me, okay?
Alright.
Hi, Joe. My name's Derren Brown. I'm a kind of English psychological illusionist, if that makes any sense. And I want to try a kind of a mind-reading experiment with you, all right?
All right.
I need to ask you a few questions, Joe. I need to know a few things about you. Please be honest. How old are you, Joe?
I'm 18.
18, fantastic. And are you a student? Do you work, or?
I'm a student.
What do you study? Are you at school, or what do you major in?
I actually go to culinary school.
Culinary school, thank you, that's really interesting. Great. All right, listen, so I'm going to write something down here. I'm not going to show Jessica or any of these guys what it is. I'm going to ask you to be doing 3 things in a moment, all right? Joe, let me just explain. You're going to be writing a word in your mind on like a big chalkboard. You're going to be saying the words yourself over and over again. And then you're also going to try and do the whole thing without really thinking about it, right? So that's 3 different kind of cogs that are going to be going round in your mind at the same time, all right? But let me just write something here first. Okay. Okay, cool. Joe, I need you to imagine that you are, 6 years old back in elementary school, all right? And imagine you're picking up a piece of chalk.
Okay.
Then you're going to start writing a word very large and clear on this chalkboard, and then just tell me when you're done.
All right, I'm done.
You're happy that was a free choice of word, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
See, I've written something here, and you won't be able to see what I've written, but hopefully you'll be able to tell by Jessica's reaction as to whether it's at all close. What was the word that you wrote?
Bicycle.
Bicycle.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
You wrote tricycle, yeah?
I was one wheel out, tricycle. Thank you, Joe. Thanks for your help. Thank you very much. Cool.
Thanks, Joe.
I thought he was going to be completely wrong and it'd be like a complete sham, but then like you got tricycle. I'm pretty amazed actually.
I think Like, there's no other explanation for it, because how else would you do it?
Our participant, Richard, was offered a blind choice of trick or treat. His trick started when he collapsed in a photo booth in London. Although he doesn't know it, he and that photo booth have travelled 1,429 miles and are now in Marrakech. He has been asleep for 13 hours, but when he awakes, not a second will have passed in his mind. Whilst he was asleep, an anonymous envelope containing his passport, his return flight details and some money were placed in his pocket. After a long and bizarre journey, which for him has simply never happened, Richard is about to receive his wake-up call. All cameras are very well hidden.
Where am I?